to your LiveLINK Training. In this class, we'll go over both the front end of the website, and then we'll flip around to the back end of the website where the CRM lives, the email marketing, you can set your clients up on searches, and all of that good stuff. For the first part of the class, though, we're going to go over a tour of the front end of our website. We have lots of tools and resources available for you here, and we want you to be familiar with them and feel free to use them and share them. So at the top of our website here, I'll just scroll down right below the fold. We have exploring Denver metro neighborhoods. So we really consider ourselves Denver's neighborhood experts, and we have all of these great resources for Denver neighborhoods for you as well as for your clients. So I'm going to go into Urban Core, and I'll just show you what these pages look like. So if I go to Urban Core, we have all of the central Denver neighborhoods here. So I'm going to scroll down. We'll just pick Cherry Creek. So these are what our neighborhood pages look like. We have, at the top, we have market trends. So this pulls from the MLS. I believe it updates every 15 minutes. So it's current, up-to-date stats for this neighborhood. If someone wanted to see more information here, they can click here to view the full report. That gives them a little more information, and it puts all the information here in some charts and graphs. We call these our market insight reports, and I'll show you a little bit later how you can sign yourself up for them or sign your clients up for them. But if someone's just kind of poking around on our website here and they want to subscribe to this for their neighborhood, if they click this button, it will then start sending them periodic updates, and they will get all this exact same information right in their email. These charts and graphs will be embedded right into the email. And when they sign up for that, that's now going to be a lead that will be captured through our system, and that will go to the floor agent. So whoever is signed up for floor at that time would get that lead. I'm going to go back out to the neighborhood page. So again, those market trends are right there at the top of the neighborhood page. Then we have these neighborhood amenities, and I'll show you quick. So this section here, and then if I scroll down to the neighborhood rankings, these sections are both unique to our Corcoran Perry & Co. website. So these scores and stats and amenities, this was all crowdsourced from our agents. So our agents who know and live and work in these neighborhoods put together this information. So this is all proprietary and unique to us. So again, we have neighborhood amenities here at the top, just some highlights of the neighborhood. And then we have some quick call to actions here. So if someone clicks, what's my home worth? It's going to take you here. They can type in their address, and it will spit out a kind of like a Zestimate, but it's from RPR, which is Realtor Property Resource. So it will give them a range of value for their home. It actually gives a pretty wide range. And then at the bottom of that, we have another lead capture form that says if you'd like a more customized report or a more accurate report, sign up here. And then again, that lead would go to whoever is on floor. Back to the neighborhood page. If they click find an agent, that will of course go to our agent directory, and they can look through our agents and find one that they click with. Here they can sign up for new listing alerts, so any new listings that come up in this neighborhood, they can sign up there. There's a contact us form, or they can just start their own home search in Cherry Creek. All of these actions, again, will are lead capture opportunities on the website. So anytime someone signs up for these on our main site, that is going to go to the floor agent. You also will have, and I'll show you this a little bit later, but every agent has these neighborhood pages on their own websites as well. So if someone is poking around on your website and they click what's my home worth or sign up for listing alerts, then that lead would go to you if they started on your own webpage. And again, I'll show you that in a little bit. You'll notice some of the neighborhood pages have a video. We just have a few of those. You're welcome to watch those. It's just kind of a fun little tour of the neighborhood. I'm going to highlight of some of the shops and destinations in that neighborhood. Then, of course, we have our proprietary neighborhood rankings. These are all scored on a scale that goes up to 10. So you can read through that. Just some more information here at the bottom. Then we have a map that outlines the boundaries of the neighborhood. Below that, it shows the primary area. So again, this would be a central Denver neighborhood, and we call that urban core. It will show other nearby neighborhoods, and then some active real estate in that neighborhood. It will show, if we have listings in that neighborhood, it will show our Corcoran Perry & Co. listings at the top of this list here. So that's what our neighborhood pages look like. We're really proud of these. Right now we have all of the central Denver neighborhoods, and we're still working on building out the content for all those to make them really robust and pack a lot of value. We don't have, for neighborhoods outside in the suburbs, we don't have a ton of content for those yet, but we're always building that content out. And if you are an expert in one of those neighborhoods and you'd like to see an area built out a little bit more, we would just ask that you help us out with some of that content and provide some of that information for us so that we can accurately depict that neighborhood. All right, I'm going to go back out to the main page now. So again, right before the fold here, we have our neighborhood pages, because we really want to be the go-to resource for anyone who wants more information about Denver neighborhoods, wants to explore them a little bit more. So that is at the top. Then we have these call to actions here. So market reports is what I showed you off of the neighborhood page. So it's those market insight reports that have some quick stats for the area and those charts and graphs. Again, a lead capture opportunity here. Home value, that same button I showed you off the neighborhood page, so they can type their home in and get an estimate of what their home is worth, and then they can fill out the form to get a more accurate CMA from one of our agents. The mortgage calculator is something that we don't actually gate, so they don't have to sign in to use the mortgage calculator. And that's just because you can find that for free all over the internet. So we don't want them to bounce off of our site trying to find one that they don't have to register to use. So that is just a free resource and tool for anyone who's on our website. And then this last call to action here on the homepage is our Denver Urban Index. And this is also something that's proprietary to us. So I'll click here and show you what this looks like. So this has all of the central Denver neighborhoods. There's 70 neighborhoods in here. And we actually pull these stats manually every quarter. So these will be updated quarterly on the website. It was just done so this is Q4 for 2021. So it was just done in January of 2022 for this page here. But the really cool thing about this is that not only does it have all this great information, average sold price, percent change year over year, days on market. This one here is the numbers sold in the last 12 months. So how many homes are moving in that neighborhood, price per square foot, sold to list value, and then month supply of inventory. So we've got all this great content here, but the really cool thing is that all of these are sortable. So if I want to see, so you can tell right now they're sorted alphabetically. But if I want to see, if I want to sort by sold price, I would just click this header, and you can see it rearranged itself by average sold price. If I want to see, which neighborhood has the lowest days on market, I would just click this header, and it's going to sort all the neighborhoods lowest to highest days on market. Or I can click again to go highest to lowest. And then so you can see there's 4 pages here, so you may have to click over to see all of the neighborhoods. But this is a really great tool. It helps you guys, I think. It helps the agents to really be neighborhood experts on what's currently going on in those neighborhoods. But it's also a fun tool for your clients. So you can show your clients this tool, and they can kind of play around too and see what's going on in their own neighborhood or neighborhoods they might be interested in moving to. All right, back to the main page. So below those call to actions there, we have just a really nice visual representation of Denver homes for sale. Again, this will show our listings first. So this is a Corcoran Perry & Co. listing here. If you just hover over the image, it will give you some quick stats on that property, and then you can click to view more information about the property. Below that, we have today's market data. This will pull every 15 minutes from the MLS, so this is all current. And then below that, it will highlight 8 of our real estate agents, and this pulls just randomly each time there's a new user or if you refresh the page. So if I refresh here, it's going to pull 8 new agents here. So sometimes you'll see yourself here, sometimes you won't. It does generate a new, 8 new agents every time you refresh the page. And then again, if you hover, you can see that quick information. Below that, we have our testimonials. On the homepage, again, these will be for the brokerage, but there is a testimonial spot on your web pages, which I'll show you in a little bit. A contact page, and then, we are trying to attract like-minded agents, so we have a hiring page here as well. So that is our main homepage. And then I'll just go through some of the navigation here at the top. I don't need to go through all of it. I do encourage you to explore the website and poke around on here. We've got lots of great stuff. So I'll just kind of highlight some of that right here. So under search, you can always do a custom search, and that's just, typing in your own parameters. But then we do have some built out searches. So all new listings, open houses would be all open houses in the entire metro area. And then if you're just looking for condos or just looking for our listings, you can search by neighborhood, new construction. We just have some nice pre-built searches that are common searches for people. Under buying, we have some, buyer resources here, seller resources here under this tab. We do have a leasing team here at Corcoran Perry & Co. So this is all of our leasing resources. Neighborhoods, again, this is those neighborhood pages I was showing you. We just have in the top navigation here, you can easily get to any of those neighborhood areas. Listings, we have our current listings. Upcoming open houses off of this drop-down menu will be just Corcoran Perry & Co. open houses. So if you want to see which in-house open houses we have coming up, you can click that button. If you're looking on a Monday, you probably won't see anything. If you're looking on a Friday, hopefully we've got some open houses for the weekend. So if you ever click on that and the page is empty, it might just be too early in the week to have any open houses showing. And then here would be all Corcoran Perry & Co. listings. So this would be things that are pending or things that are sold. So all of our past listings will be here. Under resources, just some more stuff here, buyer seller guides, the mortgage calculator can be found here. That neighborhood index that I showed you is right here. We've got some relocation resources, so just some extra stuff here for people. About us, this has Meet Our Realtors would be our directory pages. We have our professional staff here, some testimonials. We have our Live and Give program information here. And Live Proud, any events we have coming up. So just all stuff about the company here. We do have a company blog. If you haven't seen our blog, I would check that out. Lots of great content there. So we do blog once a month for the market report, and then have weekly lifestyle and real estate content. And then our contact page here. And then the top right corner, just some links to our social media pages, which we hope you will follow. Follow our social media pages, give us a like, and make sure you're following for all of that content. The next thing I want to show you is our listing pages. So I'm going to go to our current listings. And I'll choose this listing here on Wewata. So this is what all of our listing pages look like on the website. They're very user-friendly. We really like the look and feel of these. So I always send, for my clients, if I'm sharing listings, I do always send it from our website just because it has such a nice user experience and our branding is right in front of them. So if I ever share listings, I actually share it from my own website, and I will show you how to do that But I just want to give you a tour and show you what these pages look like. So at the top, some quick call to actions, contact an agent. So if I was a consumer on the site and this was a property I was interested in, I wanted to reach out and get more information, I would click here. Again, they would fill out a form and that goes to the floor agent. Whoever's on floor would get that lead. They can request a showing right from here. It doesn't let them actually schedule a showing, but they think they are. So they can do that. Again, that would just go to the floor agent who would reach out to schedule that with them. They can share the listing with a friend, spouse, family member. From here, the loan calculator is free, or they can print the details. So just some other lead capture and resources here at the top. Quick information here, the title. And then we love this carousel. It's just a really nice user experience for people. If you were on an iPad, you could just, flick it left to see go through all the photos. Just a nice carousel of the photos, which displays a lot nicer than the MLS, which, in the MLS you have to, click in the little box to make it bigger, and then you click and wait for it to load the new photo. It's a little clunky. So this is just a better, quicker experience. We know people love photos, and this gives them an easy way to just cruise through all the photos first. If I scroll down, I get, some more quick information about the property here. And then if I want to see all the information, this is expandable. So if I click this, I can now see all of those fields from the MLS. Below that, we have a map. So this will show you where the property is on the map. And then this is one of my favorite features. So if you click Yelp, this will then map. So let's say I'm interested in this listing and I want to know, I like to work from coffee shops. So I want to know if there's any coffee shops nearby that I can walk to. So I would click this and it will map all of the coffee shops near the listing and then list them down below here. You can do the same for bars, restaurants, golf courses, gas stations, all the things. So kind of interesting to play with all these buttons here. Clients also love it. They can see, they can choose what's important to them nearby and look for that. And then if you click schools, this will map the elementary, middle, and high school that's associated with that property. And then again, it would list it down below here. It also shows, here, the rating. And this comes from greatschools.org. So it pulls those ratings in as well. Below that, it will give you some information about the neighborhood. And this is just pulled from our neighborhood description on our neighborhood pages. So this one is in Lodo. If you wanted more information about Lodo, you could click here for the full neighborhood details. Down below that, we have those market trends that you've seen before. And then below that, we have similar properties to this one. I like to show this to clients. If I have a listing coming up, I like to show this during the listing presentation so they can see how I'm going to market their property, that we have these really great comprehensive listing pages that consumers love, and this is how I'm going to market your property. This is how it's going to look. And this is all automatic. When you have a listing, this all just pulls in from the MLS and automatically looks like this for every listing. So there's nothing you have to do that, but your client thinks you are. Your client thinks you're putting this together for them and marketing for them. So I always like to show them that. Now let's take a look at the agent web pages. You each have your own web page that is different than the directory page. So I'm going to go to Pam's page, and Pam actually has what we call a vanity URL. So she has pamcatania.com. So if I open up a new browser here and I type in pamcatania.com, it's going to forward to, if you look up here in the top left corner, that vanity URL, which is a URL that's easy for people to remember and looks nicer on marketing materials. It's shorter. We have that redirect to pamcatania.corcoranperry.com. So your web page will be your first name, last name, .corcoranperry.com. So that's where your page lives, but we can set up a vanity URL for you if you want to do that. So on the agent web pages, we have some video content at the top. The default is Denver's urban real estate experts. We can change that to whatever you'd like. So some agents have, they're maybe the school expert, or they have a different niche that they work. So we can change that header to anything that you'd like that is customizable. Then we have a quick search here. We know that people come to real estate pages to do searches for homes. And so that is, right here at the top, they can do a search here. Below that will be your headshot, name, some quick information, and then just the start of your bio. If I click here on read more, that's going to take me to an about page with the full bio. So here, and this looks just like the directory page, but you can tell that we're still on Pam's website because her picture is here in the top left corner, and it still says pamcatania.corcoranperry.com here in the top left. So we can tell we're still on her webpage, but this page here, this about page, does look just like our directory page on the main page. So all of her contact information is here, her full bio, the Q&A questions, some testimonials, and then her sold listings are here. This page actually, it says sold listings, but I believe this will show your buy and sell sides on this page. So if I go back to her main homepage here. So again, we've got that teaser information here that leads to the full about page. Below that, we have a call to action. And this is also customizable. So if you have, a tagline that you use, or a custom call to action, or some other content you want to put here, we can also customize this bar here for you. So you would just put in a general marketing request, and we can update that for you. Below that, we have testimonials. This will pull in one testimonial. If I refresh the page, it's going to pull in a different one. So any testimonials you have in the system, it just kind of rotates through them every time there's a unique user. If I click read more, it will take me to a full list of all of her testimonials. And then below that, just some quick call to actions here and resources. So there's a mortgage calculator, contact page, and then that property valuation that I showed you on the main site. It's the same one. And then just going through the top navigation, listings. So here on the directory page I showed you, it would show your buy and sell sides. Here under listings, under current and past sales, this is only going to show listings. And then neighborhoods, like I was saying earlier, you all have access to all of these neighborhood pages. We're able to share that down to every agent page. So this makes it look like you made all that content. This is your web page, and you have all these neighborhoods. So if you wanted to share a neighborhood, you could say, I could take Berkeley. If I want to go to Berkeley, I would just come up here and copy this URL here at the top. I can copy that and I could paste it over to Facebook or another social media site. I also could send that to clients. So let's say I have a client moving here from out of town and they're considering, 5 different neighborhoods, or from what they've told me, I think there's 5 different neighborhoods that might fit what they're looking for. I would just come up here. I do this all the time. So I would just copy and paste from each of those neighborhoods, those URLs, and send that to them in an email so that they can click that URL and come over to your site and explore those neighborhoods on your website. It makes you look like you created that content and you really are the neighborhood expert. So feel free to share those at will. Under resources, you have that property valuation tool again, mortgage calculator, current market stats, and then a home seller guide. Under blog, this would be for your own personal blog. So we are not able to share the brokerage blog down to the agent sites, and that's for SEO reasons. We can't have 100 duplicate contents of our blog content, or we'll get hit for SEO, and our blogs will stop showing up in Google searches. So, but you have the ability to blog on your own. So you have your own blog here, and while you can't copy our main content off of the main website, you can take maybe that same concept and write your own spin on it. So you could write your own take on whatever it is we blogged about that week, or you could blog about something for a niche that you work, or your farm area, or just any Denver lifestyle information that you think would be valuable or fun for people, you're able to blog on your own. Under testimonials, this would, if I click that, again, we'll list all of Pam's testimonials, contact page, and then up here, some social media links to all of Pam's social pages. And I'll show you where you can customize this once we get into the back end in LiveLINK. So now we're going to flip around to the back end of the website, and we'll have you sign in to LiveLINK. So I'm going to have you sign in on your own website. So if you start a new tab here, you're going to type in your first and last name .corcoranperry.com. That will take you to your website. And then up here, you're going to click Login. You'll type in your Corcoran Perry email address. And then your password is your last name with a capital first letter and then 1, 2, 3. Once you're logged in, you'll see your dashboard. So this is what that looks like. In the top left corner here, you have some brokerage announcements. So here you'll see things from events that we have coming up, deadlines to sign up for marketing materials, or just any brokerage announcements that we have. And we do try to keep that current. So always pay attention to this here at the top for important information. On the right-hand side, this is a social media feed, but it only shows your posts. So it's not like logging into Facebook where you see everyone else's posts. It just shows your latest posts, and it only shows Twitter and YouTube right now. I believe they're working on integrations with other social media platforms, but for right now, it's just Twitter and YouTube. So you would see your own postings from those platforms here. If I scroll down, over here on the left, we have top contacts. So this will show your top 5 people, and it categorizes that by the most active or the most recently active. So it's going to give them a score for that and show you your top 5 people, and you can scroll through these cards here. If you want to see all of your contacts, there's 2 ways to do that. You can click View All right here from your dashboard, or this top navigation here, this will remain the same no matter what page you're on. So you also could just click Contacts up here in the top left, and that will go to your CRM with all of your contacts. On the right-hand side, it just has a little graph of, your contact statuses. So any new people you have, active people that you have in the system, it will show you a graph here of that. On the left-hand side, it will show your listings. Same thing, it will give you a quick card of your listings, same as this top contacts here, just a quick card with some information. You could click on those if you want to see that listing, or you can click here, View All, to see a list of all of your listings. On the right-hand side, under Events and Tasks, these are reminders for you of when to follow up with people. So the system will give you one task reminder to follow up every time you have a new lead. So you'll see some of those here. And then you can also assign tasks to yourself and assign yourself reminders to follow up. So if you've done that, you would see those here. If I keep scrolling on the bottom left here, we have some resources. So we have a full resource section, and if you want to get there, there are 2 ways to do that. One is to click View All, and that will take you to the resource section. The second way to do that would be to click your face here in the top right corner, and you can drop down to Resources. So I'll show you what that resource section looks like. Here we have all of our order forms. So the general marketing request that I referenced before is right here at the top. Listing order forms, business card, any kind of order form that we have are all going to be right here in the resource section. We also have a link bank here. So this will just have, common vendors or websites that you might want to click over to. We also have, our office documents are in here. We have all of our tear sheets in here, so lots of great content and great information to share with your clients. And these can be accessed and printed right from the system here. So you can take some time to look through those at some point. And we also have, in the resource section, we also have header graphics for your social media profiles, social graphics, holiday graphics, all kinds of fun stuff back here. So play around in there if you want to see what we've got. There's all these different sections. You can just look through all of our resources here. And we often will reference the resource section. So if you're asking us for something, we might say, oh, it's in the resource section under this header. So if we say resources, this is what we're talking about. It lives in LiveLINK, not in my Corcoran. That's a different system. All right, to get back to the dashboard from any page that you're on, you can just click the logo in the top left corner. Next, let's get your profile set up. So I'll have you click your picture here in the top right corner. From here, we'll see a drop-down menu and go to Edit Profile. Then we'll click Edit Agent, and I'll just walk you through each of these sections. So the first section just has your contact information, so make sure your name is spelled correctly, your email's in there correctly. For phone number, we prefer to have dots instead of dashes, so just put a period between the numbers here. Your primary office here, that's the office where you're going to get your mail, so just make sure that's correct. And then also definitely want to double check that your MLS ID is correct. So make sure that's the right number and it's the correct service that's showing. So it should be RE Colorado for most of you. If you have a secondary MLS, if you use iRes or one of the mountain ones, you can also add that in and just make sure you're selecting the correct service here. The next section is your contact information. So this should have your office address where you get your mail. And then under office phone, I'm actually going to have you just put your cell phone number there again. If someone calls the office for you, we're just going to forward it to your cell phone anyway. So might as well skip a step and just have your cell phone number in there. So same number here as the cell phone field above, and also with the dots instead of dashes. The next section is text notifications. So these are notifications that you'll get on your phone. You will also get notifications for some of these events as an email, but if you're out somewhere or you're not at your computer, what things would you also want to get a text message for? So you can go through this list and decide for yourself which items you would want to get a text message for. For me, someone has a property inquiry, they request a showing, or I get a new lead. I want to know that right away so that I can reach out to them in a timely fashion. I also want to know, here I clicked if someone fills out a new contact form, that's a new lead, or here if they add a note on a property. So those are the ones that are most important to me. But you can decide for yourself which of these items you would also want to get a text message for. I will caution you on right here, the contact favorites of property. Sometimes you'll get people in there that are just going crazy on the search and they might favorite, 20 houses. I personally wouldn't want to get 20 text messages for that, so I don't check that one. But again, it's up to you. And then here, this one where it says contact lead score exceeds 100. So the system scores every lead it's all based on search activities. So it gives them certain scores, and then there's a multiplier based on how recent that activity was. So it's kind of their own proprietary scoring system, but a lead score of 100 would be a high score. And so if you want to know if you've got a lead that's all of a sudden really active on the website, that might be something you want a notification for. So just go through this list and decide what works for you as far as getting text messages. The next section is your profile settings. So here we add the images for you, and we ask that anytime you need to update your image that you let us do that, because it has to be sized correctly so that it shows up on the front end of the website properly. So we're happy to change that for you. Just put in a general marketing request with your new image if you have one. And this is where we would add it. Over here, just make sure that your title is correct. And then if you've done any trainings where you received certifications, you can add those in here. So, some of you might have certified negotiation expert or buyer representation expert or something like that. So you can add those titles in here. If you speak another language, you absolutely should add that here. That's a benefit. And then here, just make sure that the sold properties date range goes back 10 years. I think our MLS only pushes for 2 years, but we just put the maximum in here so that as many properties as possible are showing up on your page. And then over here, make sure it's displaying active properties, pending and sold. And so these will display on your home page where I showed you where it says current and past sales, and then on the directory page where it has your buy and sell side. So just make sure it's displaying all three of those things. If you are also an official part of the leasing team, then you can check this one here, display rented properties. If I scroll down, this is where you can edit your bio. And I do recommend that you come in at least once a year and update this. Here I have a year marker. So every year I have to come in and add another year to this stat here. Sometimes I come in and I read it and I'm like, ooh, that sounds cringy, or that's, I have something to add to that. And so I do recommend updating your bio at least once a year. You can also add pictures here. And then those Q&A questions that we ask you when you start, this is where we add that in as well. And you can change this anytime you want to. The next section is office. Over here on the right-hand side, again, it will have the office that you get your mail at. And then over here, it's going to ask for your license number, and I'm going to recommend that you leave that blank. This will actually display your license number publicly, which I don't recommend. Lenders have to display their NMLS number. We don't. And people can use that number to set showings. There's certain companies that still take showings over the phone, and they just use your license number to do that. So for your own liability's sake, I would leave this blank. There's no reason for us to display our license publicly, so I would leave that off of there. The rest of this you can leave. We manage the rest of this internally. Under web details, this is where your vanity URL would go. My website is jenlarson.corcoranperry.com, but I also have this vanity URL, jensells5280. So if you have a vanity URL, this is where that would go. If you want a vanity URL, just reach out to the marketing department and we're happy to help you with that. Under social media, this is where you'll add all of your social media links, and that's where on the front end of your website, right up here, is where all those links are. So if let's say I didn't fill out a Facebook one, then that would be blank. That just wouldn't show up here. So I would have at least 2 or 3 because people like to kind of check you out. So have at least a couple there, but you don't have to fill them all out. So, and then the system does want the http://, so make sure it's a full URL that you're putting in here. So you can add any of the social platforms that you want to here. And that's it. You don't need to change anything else in the profile section. As long as all of those sections are good, you're all set to just hit Update Agent here in the top right corner. Next, let's take a look at the CRM. So at the top left here, you'll click Contacts. And this takes you to the page where we've uploaded all of your contacts for you. If you're new and you don't have any contacts in the system yet, just send us over a spreadsheet with all of your contacts in it and we can upload that for you. I'm going to show you how to add a contact. So there are 2 ways to do that. One way is this 4 square here that's always at the top of every page that you're on. I can click that, and we've got some quick actions here. One of them is create a contact. Or if you're in the contacts page, the page that we're on here, I can also hit create here. So from here you can add, the only things you have to have are their first and last name. If you don't know their first name, we've had people put Urbanite. If you don't know their last name, you can just put unknown for the last name. And the reason for that is that sometimes for system emails, it will dynamically pull their first name. Dear Sarah, dear Aaron, whatever. So if they don't have a first name, or if you have unknown in the first name field, it sounds kind of funny. So, but if it says dear Urbanite, that makes a little bit more sense. But for last name, we don't usually pull that for anything. So you can put unknown in that last name field. So you need first and last name, phone number if you have it, and then an email address. That's all you have to have. But there's all these other fields, and the more completely you fill out this contact form, the more useful it becomes to you later. So I'll walk you through the rest of this. If you want the lead to know that you've added them to our system, you can check this box here. I typically don't do that. Then here under contact details, If you have more information about when they want to purchase, what their time frame is, that you can add that here. If you have their street address, you can add that here. For email settings, so this section is a permissions section. So this gives the system permission to send search emails if they're set up on a search, and to send marketing newsletters and campaigns if they're set up on those campaigns. So if someone were to unsubscribe, you'll find that these will be unchecked. And so that means no matter how many searches you put them on, no matter how many campaigns you put them on, they're not going to get anything because the system doesn't have permission right here to send it. So this is just a permissions. If I check those boxes, it doesn't mean they're going to start getting search emails and campaigns. It just means that the system has permission to send them once you add them to those campaigns. And I'll show you how to do that later. For this contact, if you also wanted to be copied on any of the search emails that they get, you can check this box here and you will receive the same email that they do. Also in this email section, I could add an additional email. So let's say, some people like to have, if they, know a spouse team, a husband and wife, husband, whatever, and you don't want to have separate contacts for each of the spouses. So here you could add a second contact that's attached to this contact, if that makes sense. And then under other details, there's a lot of stuff in here. So you can add their birthday, their home anniversary. We have marketing categories in here. So this is, your A's, B's, and C's, if you categorize your database that way. And then you can also use this contact tags here. And this actually becomes really helpful to you later on. So if you have a niche that you work, you can add a tag for that. If you have, if there are people that you want to invite to events, you can make an events tag. And that makes it easier to send emails to those specific people later on. Another way that I use tags, and you can see right here, this Earth Day 2021. So this was a pop-by gift that was done in 2021. And I just tagged everyone that I gave that gift to. I tagged that in the system. And that just helps me know later on who I've been giving gifts to and at what frequency. So that becomes helpful for me. When you have everything filled out that you want in there, you could just hit Create Contact. And then they will now appear when you go to your contacts page. Those fields that we filled out also become helpful to you from here. So I can click, anytime you see this funnel, that's going to be an advanced search or a filtered search. So if I click on that, and then if I go all the way down here to advanced search, you now see all those same fields that we had when we created that contact. So if I wanted to search for, if I want to search for birthdays next month, I could search for, birthdays after February 1st, before February 28th. And that would pull up all the birthdays that I have coming up next month, and I could sit down and write my birthday cards. Or you could do the same for home anniversaries or any of these fields. If you want to, if you had categorized people with those pop-by gifts, you can do a search for that tag. So any of these fields become searchable, and then it will populate a list, a filtered list for you of all those contacts that fit that field. Now I'm going to go into one of my contacts and show you what that looks like. And this is just a test account that I have for myself. I do recommend you do that for yourself. You can set yourself up on a test account. That way you can send emails to yourself, put yourself on the drip campaigns, or just test anything in the system. So this is a personal email account of mine that I just use to kind of play around with. But I'm going to walk you through this. So when you click on a lead, you'll come to this lead details page here. And this has all of that information that you entered when you first entered the contact. On the left-hand side, you've got all these navigation options here. So I'll walk through these with you. So next would be website activity. This will show, what properties they've been looking at, what blogs they've been looking at, what searches they've done, toolbar activity, form submissions. So you've got this left-hand navigation, and then you always have this top navigation too in each of these sections. So you can kind of see what the lead's been looking at. In the notes section, this is for you. So you can add a note. If I just click add note in the top here, I can say, talked to the lead on February 1st. The lead is planning to move here in July. They have 2 kids and a dog named Bruno. So you can just leave yourself notes, and that way the next time you reach out to them in a couple months, you can say, hey, how's Bruno doing? And how are the kids? And, is your timeline still the same? And so you it tells them that you remember their conversation, and that impresses them. So always leave yourself notes, especially if it's a lead that you don't have a personal connection with. Next, under favorite properties, this will show you any properties that the lead or the contact has favorited. Saved searches, we'll go into this in more detail later, but this is where you can create saved searches for your contacts, or you can view the saved searches that they've set up for themselves. Showing sheets, and I'll show you this a little bit later too, but you can create showing sheets for yourself from here instead of doing it from the MLS. Listings sent by agent, this would be if I had sent any listings directly to a contact from the system. Market insights, this is that thing that I showed you on the front end of the website, those market insight reports. So this is how you can sign people up. So under market insights here on the left, and then you go up here in the top right corner to add market insight. You give it a name, so it could be, so let's see, I'll do Athmar Park. So then I'll call it what's happening in Athmar Park. And then you can decide, click these fields. I usually leave it as generic as possible. So I don't usually minimize it by beds and baths or price. I just leave it very generic for the neighborhood. And then you can decide if it goes out weekly, monthly, or quarterly, and then just hit subscribe. So pretty easy to sign people up for those. The next section on this left-hand navigation here is email marketing. And this is where you can see what lists people are on, what drip campaign emails they're getting, the newsletters that they're getting. So, and I'll show you how to add people to those lists in a little bit. But for right now, I'll just show you, you can see that this contact is on the Denver Metro Real Estate Report. These are all the reports that have been sent to them. They're also on, this one is actually our general drip campaign. And again, this is just my test account, so that's why I'm on so many. Normally, you would never put a contact on this many email campaigns. I just have this as a test account. So here are all the email lists that they're on, and then the actual emails that they've been getting off of that list. If I go back to the top here, I can go to drip campaigns, and this will show me all the campaigns that they're subscribed to. And then here under Eblasts, this will show me all of the single emails that were sent. And then you can also see here the email history. So you can see when it was delivered. If they opened it, it will timestamp it for you. And then if they clicked a link in the email, it will timestamp it for you here as well. So you can kind of keep an eye on what they're opening, what they're interested in, what they're looking at. Next on the left-hand side is tasks and events. So this, the system will give you one follow-up reminder every time you get a new lead, but you can also add tasks yourself. So here, the task could be follow-up by phone in 2 weeks, or, follow-up about whatever it is you need to follow up with them for. So you can leave yourself task reminders here. So on the left-hand side, under messages, you can send email messages or text messages from the system. So if I just click send message, that will be an email that's coming directly from the system to that contact. If they reply, it will go to your Gmail inbox. And then over here under send text message, this will send the contact a text message. If they reply to that text message, you will get a notification on your phone that will give you a link back here, and you can reply to them here. So It's a little bit clunky that way. You can't reply to them directly from your phone because it is a different phone number that's being used, and the system tracks everything here in the back end. So you do have to reply from here for the texts, but you will get a notification on your phone that the lead has responded and what they responded with, and then it will give you a link right back here so you can respond to them right away. Under documents, we don't need to use that because we have CTM1, but this, for people who don't, you can keep all of your transaction documents here. And if you sign someone up for an action plan, we have a few in the system here. So we have some generic ones here in the system that you can use, or you can create your own, but this will give you a set of follow-up reminders. So let's say you have an open house. So this one would be a set of follow-up reminders for your open house contacts that you met at that open house. And again, you can create your own. You could do a post-closing follow-up program, and you can create your own in the system. And then this is how you would add people to that. So if I want to add them to the action plan that goes along with the luxury drip, I can add that here. Home valuations, if the contact, when they registered, had filled out one of those home valuation forms, this will show you when it was submitted, what the address was, and what that RPR valuation was. And then the last thing here on the left is lead history. This shows how the lead came into the website. So you can see I created this lead myself by just clicking new lead. If it was a lead that came in off of the website, it would say that here as well. Now that we're familiar with the navigation here inside of a lead details page, I'll show you how to do a saved search for the contact. So if I click under saved searches here on the left, and then here I can create a new search. This will have all of the fields from the MLS, so you guys can play around with this. I do encourage you to spend some time just setting yourself up on a search and just to see how it works. So you can scroll through, there's all these extra fields. You just have to expand them to get all the fields. And then it does have a map. It's kind of hidden here at the bottom, but if you click to expand the map search, you have that here. And it's just a simple polygon. So if I click the polygon shape here, I can now click, 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 whatever shape I want. The one drawback here is that I can't make more than one shape. It only gives you one shape to play with. So I know in the MLS you can create, I can make another one over here, or I could do a negative map search. So I could do this area, but not right here. In this system, we don't have those quite all the same features that they have in the MLS. So if you have someone with a more complicated search, you might want to do that on the MLS. But this does have a good polygon tool for you to use. You can stretch it and play with it here. So now that I've created a search, in the Save Searches here, I can go click View Results. And this is where you'll see all the homes. So from here, I can click on a listing and see what it looks like. It does look different on the back end of the website than what I showed you on the front end of the website. So this is your agent view of the listing. It does give you more information than you can see on the front end of the website, and it just looks a little bit different. So for instance, right here under contact information, it will give you the listing agent's name and their office information, which consumers will not see on the front end of the website. Also, any contacts that you send searches to, they will not see this either. So this really is just your agent view. The client sees, or the contact sees, what's on the front end of the website. And then right here where it says, here, I'll show you one on the front end. So on the front end of the website, right here so when the client is looking at it, instead of saying listing agent right here, it's going to say my agent, and your picture will appear here. So the listing agent's information will not be on it when the contact sees it. But this is the view they'll see. So they'll see this nice user-friendly view, which again is different from the view that you get. Looks like this. So you can scroll through the information here. I can go back over here to my search results and I can click, let's say I want to click these 3, and let's say I want to create a showing sheet with these 3 on it. These are the 3 I'm going to show to my client. So I'm going to click showing sheet. It has the 3 properties here. I'll give it a name. You have to give it a date and time for the showing, and then I'll click save. So this has the 3 properties with, the quick information here. If I click print showing sheet, you can print out the page and it will give you QR codes for each of the listings. So if you print this for your client, they can click on the QR code and it will take them to the full listing details, just like it displays on the front end of our website. If I go back to, this is the results page again. So, from here you can click on the map. You can refine the search here. You can send these listings. So let's say I want to send, these listings, I can send them here. Click send. I do recommend you guys get in here and just play with the search and get familiar with it so that you can explain it to your clients, so that if you do set them up on searches in here, you know the system and you can show them how it works. Now let's talk about email marketing. Within the LiveLINK system, we have 5 different drip campaigns and 2 different newsletters for you to utilize to stay in front of your friends, family, and contacts. The main difference between a drip campaign and a newsletter is that the drip campaigns are completely built out. All that content has already been curated. It's already in the system, ready to go out as soon as you sign someone up. They all last for about a year, sending an email about once a week. So as soon as you sign someone up, they will then get an email from you once a week for the next year. The newsletters, we don't have that content pre-built because that content's all going to be more hot topic, more seasonal, more currently relevant content and information. And so those 2 lists, so if I would draw a line right here at the bottom of this guide, and this guide is in the resources section if you ever need to reference it, it's in the resources section for you. But these top 5 here, these are all the drip campaigns. And the bottom 2, the weekly lifestyle and real estate quick reads and the Denver Metro Real Estate Report, those are our newsletters. And again, those are developed week to week as we have the content and information. It's going to be more seasonal, more hot topic. The things that are the same between the drip campaigns and the newsletters are that weekly cadence and also the way that you'll add your contacts to the distribution. Like I said, we have 5 different drip campaigns, each with a slightly different purpose. So we have one that's geared towards first-time homebuyers or millennials. We have a move-up buyer campaign, a downsizer campaign, a luxury campaign, and then we have the general drip campaign, which has bits and pieces from all of those other campaigns in it. And that's used for leads that we don't know enough about to put them on the right track. So all of the leads that come in through the website will automatically be put on that general drip campaign, again, because we don't know enough about them to know which other one to put them on. Once you have made contact with them and know more about their home goals, then you can take them off of that general drip campaign and add them to the one that makes more sense for them. And I will show you how to do that. The other thing you'll notice on this handout is that on the right-hand side, we have the names of the campaigns. And then on the left-hand side, we have these kind of wordier names. And the reason for that is because in the system, in order to get your contacts on distribution for the drip campaigns or the weekly newsletter, you'll have to add them to the marketing list that's assigned to that campaign. So the way to get your contacts on the drip campaign or the newsletter is to add them to a marketing list. So on the left-hand side, I have the name of the marketing list. And the reason we name them this way is because if someone goes to unsubscribe, they're able to see all of the lists that you have them subscribed to. So we wouldn't want someone to log in and see that we've put them on, the millennial campaign. It doesn't, they may be potentially offended by it, but also it just doesn't sound very exciting. They just would uncheck that and unsubscribe. So we named it Your Guide to Buying Your First Home and Having Fun in Denver, in the hopes that they might say, oh, maybe that content is something that I would want to stay subscribed to. So that's why we named it the way we did. So in the system, if I wanted to add someone to the first time home buyer campaign, I would actually add them to the marketing list called Your Guide to Buying Your First Home and Having Fun in Denver. And that's the way it's named in the system. So I'll show you that right now. So from your LiveLINK account, there are two ways to add people to those lists for the drip campaigns or newsletters. So the first way would be to go here to Contacts. And this is how you'll add people in bulk. So if I want to add several people at once, this is how I would do that. So here's my full list of contacts. Let's say I want to add Drew and Skylar and Gary. And you can go through and choose, all the people. One thing to keep in mind though is that if I choose a bunch of people on the first page and then I click over to page 2 to start checking boxes, it's going to delete everything from page 1. So you do have to do this page by page. So I would find everyone that I want to add from this page. And then over here under More Actions, the first box here says select an option. I'm going to click Add to List. And then I get a second box here where I can actually select that list. So if I want to add these people to Your Guide to Denver Living in Mile High Urban Neighborhoods, this is the general drip campaign. So I would click that one. And then I would just click Add. I think there is a 1 hour send delay on that first email. So if you made a mistake and accidentally added someone, you can go in and delete them up to an hour before that first email goes out. I'm not actually going to click Add here, but you would click Add and then they would start getting those emails. So you'll do the same thing then for page 2, 3, 4, all the way through. So page by page, you'll add them to the list. And you'll do it the exact same way. So you'll just check the people on the left-hand side, go to More Actions, Add to List, and then you'll select the list from this drop-down. So you will have to go down to the company lists. I'll show you how to make your own lists as well, but all of our drip campaign lists are going to be under the company tab here. One thing I do want to point out, you will also see P2 and P3 in here. So for example, we have Your Guide to Denver Luxury Living. We also have P2, Your Guide to Denver Luxury Living. And that's because each of the drip campaigns are built out in 3 phases. So phase 1 is more light touch, kind of fun lifestyle content, just to gain their trust and get them used to and looking forward to the emails that you're sending them. Phase 2 has more real estate specific content, so things like questions to ask your lender, what's the benefit of an HOA, things like that. And then phase 3 is more brand content, so that's really closing the deal, why they should work with you, the power of your brokerage's marketing, things like that. So if you sign someone up for the full drip campaign, they're going to start at phase 1. It will automatically move them through phase 2 and then through phase 3. And again, that's about a year-long process. If you want to just skip that whole first phase and just start them right off in phase 2 that has the more real estate specific content in it, that's when you would use these P2. So that's phase 2, Your Guide to Denver Luxury Living. And then we have just one phase 3 because it's the same for all of the drip campaigns. So this is what I was saying earlier too. So if you have someone who's on the general drip campaign, maybe they've gotten 3 or 4 emails and you've now been able to make contact with them and you now know that they're a luxury buyer. Now you can take them off of that general drip campaign and maybe you want to move them over to phase 2 of that luxury living drip campaign. The other way to add someone to a drip campaign or newsletter is to add them individually. So I'll just click on one of these leads here. And here is that lead detail page that we went through earlier. So if I go down here on the left-hand side, this navigation here to email marketing, Now if I scroll down, this will show me which drips and newsletters they're already on. So I can see that this was a web lead that came in, so they are on the general drip campaign. And they're also on the market report. If I want to add them to another list, I can do that up here. Now we recommend that you have someone either on the weekly newsletters or on one drip campaign. Sending multiple drip campaigns or having someone on a drip campaign as well as the newsletters is just too much. That's when, you know, you're more likely to get unfollowed. People think you're spamming them. You kind of want to go one route or the other. And best practice there is that if they are someone who's already in your sphere, someone who already knows, loves, and trusts you, that is someone who belongs on that weekly list, because now they're going to get hot topic, more relevant content in their inbox from you every week. If it's a lead that you're trying to nurture and convert into a client, that's when the drip campaigns are more appropriate. So the drip campaigns, we talked about those 3 phases. So they really are built out to convert a lead into a client. So that's kind of the differentiator there. Friends and family belong on the weekly lifestyle and the market report. Leads that you're trying to convert, whether it's a website lead or someone you met at an open house, that's more appropriate to put them on one of the drip campaigns. They also can go on the market report because that only goes out monthly. So you can have everyone on the market report and then choose either the weekly lifestyle or a drip campaign. So let's say that I want to take this person off of the general drip campaign. So right up here, I would just click remove in this top corner. So I can see they're on this list, they're getting the general drip campaign. I'll just go up here and click remove. So that would take them off of the general drip campaign. And let's say I had talked to them and they are trying to move up. So they have a growing family and they have a buy and a sell real estate transaction to do with you. So then we would click here, your guide to moving up in the Denver market. So I'm just going to check that box and then I would click add to list here. And from this page, you can see it separates out the lists a little bit differently. So here we have company lists are going to show up first. So these will be all the lists that attach to the drip campaigns or newsletters. Next is personal lists. So this is where you can have, if you have a niche that you work or you want to group your contacts in a certain way for email marketing, you can create your own list. So if you have your own lists, those will be here. So that's how you could add a new contact to one of your personal lists. And I will show you how to make your own list here in just a second. If you want to create your own marketing list and segment your list of contacts, I'll show you how to do that next. So we would start here from marketing. I'll click here. And then over here on the right-hand navigation, I'm going to go on the far right to lists. And then I'll just click create. I'll give it a name. So let's say I have a niche. I work with horses a lot and I volunteer at horse places and I know a lot of other horse people. So this could be my equestrian list, or you can call it whatever you'd like. Do keep in mind that people can see this. Again, if they go to unsubscribe, they can see what you have them subscribed to. So you wouldn't want to call it like your D list or anything like that. So just be a little bit careful of that. So all you do, you just give it a name and then you go over here to create. Super easy. That's how you started your list. You technically could add people from here, but it's not as easy from this page. So you would have to start typing in their name here. It's a little more complicated. So I recommend just starting the list, super easy, and then going back over here to contacts and adding them the way that I showed you how to add people to those drip campaigns. So over here, I'll just select, I'm going to add Carla, Annette, and Steven. Again, page by page, you would do this. Once you start selecting, then you'll get this More Actions tab. If you don't see the More Actions tab, it's because you don't have anyone selected. So if you don't see that extra set of tasks on the right-hand side, that's because you don't have anyone selected yet. So Just click a few people, then you get that more actions button. Add to list. And then I'm gonna find that equestrian list that I just made. Just a note, this is under the company list only because I just made it from the company page. Normally that would be a personal list. There. And then I would just click add. So now let's say there's a more individual email that you want to send, aside from a drip campaign or newsletter, just an email that you want to send to your people. So we'll start here in marketing. And then I'll click right here, this middle button. Here it says create Eblast. So that would be a single email. So I'm going to click that. And it pulls up a bunch of different templates here. So the one you want might be right up here at front. It might not be. You can always do a search. So I could search for an email in here. So let's say this was a birthday email that I want to set up. So if I just type in birthday, we do have a birthday template in the system. So I would click on this one, give it a name, and this is just a name for you to internally recognize the content. Then I'll click create Eblast. All of the templates, if you want to use any of the templates in here, you're more than welcome to. So any content that is on the drip campaign, you're welcome to use that as a single email as well. So it's all in here for you to use. Let's say you want to send one about professional photography to some sellers that you're working with. You could, and that's one of our drip campaign emails, but you could take that email template and use it as a one-off email. So always welcome to use anything we have in here. And they're all designed to be ready to go right away, but if you want to put your own touch on it, you're more than welcome to. So if you want to change any of the content, you would just click the section that you want to edit, and then we're going to go over on the left-hand side to actually edit. So let's say I want to change this heading. I would come over here, and I can change the header here. You can change the picture if you want. You just hit replace here. And then if you want a more personalized message or want it to sound more like it came from you, you can change this section here. Again, we just go over on the left-hand side to edit. The beauty about this email, and I'll show you when we get to the sending section, but you can set this up for, you could put everyone in your contacts on this email, send this email to them, and it won't send it until their birthday. And I'll show you how to set that up. So that's why we have here, dear user first name. So this will dynamically pull that from their account. So, dear Betty, dear Steve, whoever it is. But this is these two brackets here are essential for that to work properly. So I know that looks weird and you might be tempted to delete those. But if you delete that, then the dynamic content won't pull through the way it's supposed to. So feel free to edit, but just keep in mind if you're editing anything that's inside two brackets, you actually might be messing something up there. So once I have it the way I want it, I'm going to click save up here in the top right corner. And then on this next screen, we have 3 tasks to complete up here in the top left corner. It actually won't let you send it until we've done all of these things. So we'll start with recipients. We'll go down here to my company. And let's say you'd created a list. I do recommend, if you're going to do this, creating a birthday list. So let's say I have a birthday list in here. I'll select that. Then I'm going to go over to sender. This is where you give it a subject. So type in a subject line there, and then schedule. And this is the step that a lot of people miss. And if you miss this step, it won't actually let you hit activate when we're done. So make sure you do this schedule. So you can click send immediately if you want it to go out right now. Send on a specific date and time. So I could have this go out tomorrow morning or whenever. But then for this specific email, because it's a birthday email, and you would do this the same for a home anniversary email, I'm going to click send on anniversary. So then here I have a few more steps. So I'm going to have to choose that delivery trigger. So for this one, it's a birthday. let's say I want it to go out at noon on their birthday, or maybe that morning, maybe at 8 in the morning, we want them to get the birthday email from you. You could have it send just for 1 year. You could have this go out every year for the next 5 years, up to you. Okay, when that looks good, I'm going to click Save. From here, I can click all of the links. If there was a link on this, so this one doesn't have a link, but if it was an email with a button or a link, I could click all those links from here and test them out. But I do also recommend you send yourself a test email to your Gmail inbox so you can see exactly what they're going to see when they get their email. So to do that, I'm going to click here, Send Test. It's going to give me 2 fields. You do need to fill both of these fields out or it will not test properly. So I think sometimes people are hesitant to put one of their contacts in here, but I promise they won't get this email. This is just a test. So type in the email address for one of your contacts here. And now that will make it so that when this sends out, it's going to pull his first name out of his account and it will say Dear Brent instead of Dear Username. It also will pull your footer information, so your photo, your contact information, into the footer of the email because you are his agent. So if you don't put one of your contacts in here, your footer is not going to look right, and any other dynamic content won't quite look right. So make sure you do put the name of one of your contacts in here, and then this is your address where you would like to get that test email. And then I'll just click Send Test. And I would go over to my Gmail account and just click all the buttons and make sure everything is looking the way that I want it to look. Hopefully it does look good, and then I can click Activate here in the top right corner, or I can click Activate here. And then that will send it out. And again, it won't send it for this one, it won't send it until their actual birthday. So if you have your birthdays listed in the system, you can just set this up once for all of your contacts and they will get this email on their birthday without you having to even think about it. So that is it for the LiveLINK intro class. I know we covered a lot of information. It can sometimes be overwhelming, but feel free to rewatch this video as often as you need to. I also encourage you to just spend some time getting to know the system. So play around in there, do some searches, set yourself up on some of those drip campaigns so you can start seeing that content. And of course, if you have any questions, please reach out to the marketing team. We are always happy to help you.